My name is Sofia. I am 24 years old. I never thought that my life would take a turn so soon. When I was a little girl, I used to dream about true love. I wanted someone who would hold my hand, listen to me, and care for me. I thought love was like the stories I read in school books, full of warm feelings and beautiful endings. But life is not always like that. Life is sometimes heavy, silent, and painful. I married a man not because of love, but because of duty. His name is Daniel. He was older than me, almost 32. My parents wanted me to marry him because he was rich and stable. They thought he could give me a good life. "Sophia, this is the best for you," my mother said one night. "Love will come later. First, you need security." My father added, "Daniel is a good man. He has a house, a job, and a respected name. What more do you need?" I wanted to say, I need love. I need to feel alive. I need someone who looks into my eyes and sees my soul. But I stayed quiet. I did not want to hurt them. They believed they were choosing what was best for me. So I agreed. I smiled on my wedding day, but inside I was empty. Daniel was not cruel. He was polite, calm, and silent. He provided me with everything: clothes, a home, money. But he never gave me what my heart truly wanted: affection, attention, and love. He treated me like a guest in his house, not like a partner in life. The first week of marriage, I waited for him to ask me about my dreams. I wanted him to ask, "Sophia, what makes you happy? What do you want to do with your life?" But he never asked. Instead, he would say, "The dinner is good," or "The bills are paid." His words were like stones, hard, simple, heavy. At night, I lay in bed next to him, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence. My heart whispered, "This is not love. This is just living." One evening, I went to the balcony. The city lights were shining, but I felt so alone. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I whispered to myself, why did I agree? Why did I not fight for my dreams? Suddenly, I heard a voice. "Are you crying, Sophia?" Daniel asked. I quickly wiped my tears and said, "No, it's just the wind." He stood there for a moment, looking at me, then turned back inside. He didn't say another word. He never asked why my eyes were red. He never asked why my heart was breaking. Months passed. I tried to fill the silence with music, with books, with talking to myself. I tried to smile at him, but his face was always calm, distant. I wanted to scream, "Look at me! I'm here! I need you!" But the words stayed locked inside me. One day, I met an old woman in the park. She was sitting on a bench, feeding birds. I sat beside her, my eyes tired. She looked at me and said, "Child, you are too young to have such sad eyes." I tried to smile. "I am fine." "No," she said, shaking her head. "I can see your heart is heavy. Do not lie to yourself. What is wrong?" Tears filled my eyes. I whispered, "I married without love." She looked at me with kind eyes. "Ah, my dear, love is the water of life. Without it, the heart becomes dry. But remember, even in dry land, flowers can grow if you give them care." Her words touched me deeply. I thought about them every night. Could I make flowers grow in this dry land of my marriage? Could I learn to love Daniel, or at least find some piece of happiness? I tried. I cooked his favorite food. I asked about his day. I smiled when he came home. But he stayed distant. Sometimes he would nod and say, "Thank you." That was all. My heart began to break more and more. One night, I said softly, "Daniel, do you love me?" He looked at me surprised. "Love? What is love?" I care for you. I provide for you. Is that not enough? Tears rolled down my face. No, Daniel, that is not enough. I need your heart, not just your money. I need your eyes to see me. I need your arms to hold me. He stayed silent. He did not know what to say. From that night, I realized something. Maybe he could never give me what I wanted. Maybe love was not in his heart. Maybe I was just a name on his paper, a wife in his house, a shadow in his world. But I was alive. I had dreams. I could not let my soul die slowly in silence. That was when I decided to find my own path, even if it meant saying goodbye. The thought of leaving scared me. My parents would be angry, society would judge me. But my heart said, Sophia, you deserve more. You deserve love. You deserve life. The next morning, I wrote a letter. My hands shook as I wrote each word. Daniel, I thank you for giving me a house, a name, and food. But I need more. I need love, and I cannot live without it. I will always respect you, but I must go. This is my last goodbye. I placed the letter on the table. My tears fell on the paper, leaving small marks. I packed a small bag with clothes and walked out of the house. As I closed the door behind me, my heart was heavy, but it was also free. I whispered to myself, this is the last goodbye. I will find love. I will find myself. The air outside felt different. For the first time in many months, I felt the wind touch my face like a friend. I walked down the street with my small bag. People around me were busy. Some were laughing, some were rushing, some were holding hands. I looked at those hands and thought, one day, I will walk with someone who loves me, someone who sees me. My steps were slow, but my heart was moving forward. I did not know where to go. I had no plan. My parents lived in another town, and I was afraid to return. They would say, you have shamed us. You left a good man. But I knew that a good man in their eyes was not enough. A man could be rich, polite, and respected, but if his heart was closed, life with him was like living in a cage. I went to a small guest house near the bus station. The woman at the desk looked kind. Do you need a room, dear? She asked. Yes, I whispered. She gave me a key and said, Room 7, breakfast is at 8. I thanked her and went upstairs. The room was simple, just a bed, a chair, and a window. I sat on the bed and finally let my tears fall. My heart was full of pain, but also a small fire of courage. The next morning, I went outside. The sky was gray, but I felt light. I walked to the park and sat on a bench. I thought about my future. I had no job, no money of my own, no clear plan. But I had something powerful. I had my freedom. While I was sitting there, a young man walked by. He stopped near the bench and looked at me. His face was open, his eyes warm. He said, Excuse me, are you okay? I quickly wiped my eyes. Yes, I'm fine. He smiled gently. You don't look fine, but it's okay. Sometimes we all have heavy days. His words surprised me. He sounded like he cared, even though he didn't know me. My name is Adrian, he said, offering his hand. I hesitated, then shook it. I'm Sofia. He sat down on the bench. It's nice to meet you, Sofia. I come here every morning to walk before work. It clears my mind. What brings you here? I looked at him, wondering if I should tell the truth. Then I whispered, I left my husband. He did not look shocked. He just nodded slowly. That must have been hard. It was, I said. But I had to. There was no love. He was quiet for a moment. then said softly, "Life without love is like music without sound. You can't live in silence forever." His words touched me deeply. I looked at him and saw kindness in his eyes. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. We talked for a while about small things, about the weather, about the birds in the park, about the city. When he left for work, he smiled and said, "Maybe I'll see you here again tomorrow." I nodded. Maybe. That night, alone in my guest house room, I thought about Adrian. He was just a stranger, but he had spoken to me with warmth. He had looked at me like I was a person, not just a role. My heart whispered, "This is what you have been missing. This is what it feels like to be noticed." The next morning, I went back to the park. Part of me hoped he would be there, and he was. He waved when he saw me. "Sofia, good morning." "Good morning," I said, feeling a small smile spread across my face. We walked together along the path. He told me about his job. He worked in a small bookstore. "Books are like friends," he said. "They never leave you alone." I laughed softly. "I used to read a lot before my marriage." "Then come visit the bookstore," he said. "I can recommend something for you." Days passed. Every morning we met in the park. We talked about everything: dreams, childhood memories, fears. With Adrian, I could laugh. I could cry. I could be myself. He never judged, never pushed, never ignored. One day, I told him the whole story about Daniel. I told him about the empty marriage, the silence, the letter I left behind. My voice shook as I spoke, but Adrian just listened. When I finished, he said softly, "You were brave, Sofia. Many people spend their whole lives in silence, afraid to walk away. You had the courage to say goodbye. That is strength." His words made me cry again, but this time, my tears were not only from pain, they were from relief. Someone understood me. Weeks turned into months. Adrian became my closest friend. He helped me find small jobs: cleaning, teaching children English, helping in the bookstore. Slowly, I began to earn my own money. Slowly, I began to feel alive again. One evening, we were sitting by the river. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink. I looked at Adrian and whispered, "Do you believe in second chances?" He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, "Yes, I believe life gives us many chances, but only if we are brave enough to take them." I nodded, my heart full. For the first time, I allowed myself to hope. Maybe my story was not ending. Maybe it was just beginning. Adrian held my hand gently. "Sofia," he said, "you deserve love, real love, and if you ever let me, I would like to be the one to give it." Tears filled my eyes again, but these were not tears of sadness. They were tears of healing. I whispered, "Adrian, I'm afraid to love again, but I want to try." He smiled softly. "Then let's try together." And in that moment, I knew the last goodbye was also the first hello to a new life. Friends, did you enjoy this video? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories. See you in the next video.